Hi there. Storyline 5 from our text is called From the Nucleus to the Universe, and it covers the final 3 units, investigations 14, 15, and 16, which are nuclear physics, age of rocks, and the universe, respectively. The units are connected by the storyline's anchoring phenomenon, which is on the origin of the atoms in our universe. Specifically, the storyline's driving question is, how did the atoms that make up your body form? And although each of the investigations has its own investigative phenomenon and driving question, as you can see here, we will apply the storyline phenomenon to investigation 16, the universe. In this investigation, we cover 3 topics: the sun, stars, and the Big Bang. We will learn about the physical characteristics of our star and how it generates energy in space weather that affects our planet. We'll cover the different types of stars found in our universe and what determines their life cycles and abilities to create and spread matter across the universe. And finally, we will explore our understanding of the beginning of the universe and how it has changed over nearly 14 billion years until our current day, including what the future may possibly hold. In this video, you will begin the learning process by tapping into your own background knowledge and ideas that may explain the anchoring phenomenon of this unit. Your task will be to create an initial conceptual model based on your current ideas that you will revisit and amend or revise as new learning occurs. Let's get started. Okay, as previously stated, the driving question for this unit's anchoring phenomenon is, how did the atoms that make up your body form? Atoms, the building blocks of all matter, including the cells that give you life, have a long history. Let's watch the anchoring phenomenon video to understand the question better.
How did the atoms that make up your body form? The human body is made up of trillions of tiny cells. But those cells are made of even smaller atoms. Where did those atoms come from? If you trace the origins of those atoms, what can you determine about how they formed?
The video suggests we should trace the origins of our atoms. In other words, we need to go back in time. Far, far back in time. Not millions, not even hundreds of millions, but billions of years back in time, when the universe was still very young. Eventually, you will get there as you explore this unit. But for now, we'll turn toward 4 items and make observations and ask questions about all of them to prepare us to create an initial model based on this driving question. You'll be using a 2-page spread in your notebook for your work on the universe anchoring phenomenon. This slide shows the general setup of the first left-sided page. Across the top of this page, write the driving question. If you are not in class, you can format your page into 2 columns and 4 rows, writing in the titles as shown. The left column is titled, I Notice, the right, I'm Curious or I Wonder. The titles of the rows are Human Body Ingredients, Elements of the Human Body, Particles of You, and Universe Simulation. These are the 4 items we will use to get started. If you are in class, you can pick up a template of this table and attach into your notebook to save yourself some time. Before we delve into each of the items, let's be clear on the expectations. First, you need to write 3 observations and questions for each item. This means you will write at least 12 total observations and 12 total questions. This will take you some time, so don't rush. To begin, you should be looking to make quality observations. What stands out to you about the information presented in each item? Take some time with each piece to try and understand what is being presented so that your observations can be helpful to your upcoming modeling and class discussion. Try to avoid pointing only the things that are most obvious. It can be useful to note any general patterns you can find in the information. As for your questions, think about what you see in each item that drives your curiosity. You should try your best to grasp and understand the information for each item so that you don't waste your time thinking on questions that have simple answers, like definitions, for example. So instead of asking something like, what does X mean? Try to ask, how would a change in X or a change in Y affect what we see? Or is it possible for X to happen under different circumstances? So turn on your thinking caps and get ready to interact with some data. The first three items for our observations and questions have to do with the atoms or elements that make up your body. Atoms combine with other atoms to form larger structures called molecules, which can then combine to form cells, and cells can create the large tissues and organs that ultimately make you a living human. Here are the first two items: human body ingredients and the elements of the human body. Item 1 gives you a visual breakdown of some of the main atoms that compose your body cells, based on percentage of body weight, with descriptions of how each atom or element is mainly used. Item 2 shows you the full list of elements in your body based on the periodic table of elements. Colored elements are present in your body. Based on the information presented in Item 1, what do you notice in Item 2? What do the different colors represent? Item 3 is called particles of you, and we can see the structure of some of the atoms that were previously shown, including protons, neutrons, and electrons, which are collectively called subatomic particles. What do you notice about the structures of these atoms, the number of the subatomic particles, and how do they compare with each other? The final item is from a project called Illustris, and it is the most advanced computer model for the formation of the universe over billions of years. In Illustris, a comprehensive set of physical processes, such as star formation and black hole energy, among other things, are modeled throughout cosmic history. These sophisticated models are crucial for achieving a realistic population of modeled galaxies. Watch the full 2+ minute video to see how Illustris has simulated the evolution of our universe. By now, you should have interacted with all 4 phenomenon items and made 12 total observations and 12 total questions. If you have not, pause now and complete the task. If you have finished, continue on. You've seen quite a bit of information regarding atoms of different elements that make up your body, models of some of those atom structures, and a highly sophisticated simulation of the evolution of our universe over billions of years. So, where did the atoms in your body come from? The simple answer is from the food you ate and the air you breathed. Where those atoms originally came from, however, leads to a much more complex answer that will involve the beginning of the universe and the death of stars. Now you are ready to begin your creation of an initial conceptual model. On the second right-sided page of this 2-page spread, create the title, "What I First Think An Initial Model." In this space, you will illustrate with labels and explain in writing how you think the atoms that make up your body could be traced throughout the timeline of the universe. On this page, you must model the following: the beginning of the universe, dying of exploding stars, and the atoms of the human body. A template of images are provided on this slide to get you started. Use these or your own variations to complete this task. Remember, the key word here is initial, meaning beginning. It is understood that your background knowledge may be limited on this topic, so it is not expected that you have perfect answers as you begin. The goal with this model is for you to express your ideas based on your current knowledge, so even if you are guessing, that is okay. Later in the unit, as you learn more about each of these topics, you will come back to this model and reevaluate your thoughts as new knowledge is available. In other words, this page is only a rough draft, so feel no pressure to be right. Your illustrations must be labeled and include color, and your explanations must describe what your model shows and explain how you think the atoms that make up your body were created and eventually became a part of you. Modeling is a fun experience because you get to be creative and share your ideas, which are great for having scientific discussions. It primes your mind for deeper learning as you move forward. Take your time to make your model neat and organized, but remember, don't worry about absolute perfection in knowledge. Enjoy, and we look forward to seeing your ideas and starting the discussion.